in, I forgot, 2015, yeah, 2015. My former position terminated, so I need 1 year to looking for another job. And I know I have to have an interview, but I don't know how to speak English before a lot of people. So at this time, we have a friend visit us. She original in Mobile and moved to the Chicago. When we have a dinner together, she told us they enjoy the Toastmasters Club and do what kind of things are very interesting about this. And I go to the website and search Mobile, where is this kind of a club, and I find at least 2 of them. And first I joined to the Red Lobster and the new, but after several months I have my work conflict with this time. I came to here, and my English improved, I think, but I think in public speaking in Chinese improve a lot. Really, so it's a benefit from here, from this club. I can hold the Chinese get together. I'm a hoster, but do the Toastmaster, I'm very nervous because they use English. If you use the Chinese, I'm okay. Okay, so if I pronunciation not good, some grammar not good, you have to forgive me. Okay. Now we have today our meeting. We have the 2 speakers today. The first one is David, right? This is you actually it's the second or third, I don't know. Maybe I'm his second.
This is my first speech.
His first speech is icebreaker.
Okay. Okay, so this is our speaker, the first, and so you are joining us month, 2 months?
A couple months ago.
A couple months, okay. You're welcome to come here.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. In 2003, I was surrounded with a group of a few juniors and seniors from high school and chaperones. We had just finished a 10-day kind of whirlwind tour of Europe. We went through Spain, France, Italy, Austria, and Switzerland, all in 10 days, and we had come back to the Paris airport and we were getting ready to fly out. A lot to see in 10 days. We were exhausted, ready to get home. That was about the time I realized I no longer had my passport. It had been stolen, and we were in line to board the airplane. So my one chaperone and I stayed back. We scrambled, we rushed to the security, the police office inside the airport. We talked to them and said, look, I've been through 2 checkpoints. I've already done the body scan, you've checked my luggage, we're good. They said, just fill out this form and we'll issue you a temporary passport. It's okay to do, you're in the airport. So we did all of those things, but we missed the last flight out that day. So the plan was, let's get back to the airport first thing in the morning. We're going to get on the first flight out of there. No issues getting through security. Got through, our bags were already checked. We got through 2 levels of security. Got all the way back to the gate again, and guess what happened? They wouldn't let us on the plane with the temporary passport. So we had one option, and that was to go on the scariest, craziest, most dangerous cab ride I've ever been on, from the airport to the center of Paris at the U.S. consulate, have a passport made in about 45 minutes, and then come back all the way to the airport, all in a span of about 3 hours. And the things that you see in the movies, the cab driver slinging you around, speeding, getting up on the sidewalk, going the wrong way down one-way streets or into oncoming traffic. That was me. That happened. One time he got out of the cab, cut across 8 lanes of a big rotunda traffic, just cut straight across it, and standstill traffic, got out and was just beating on other drivers' hoods, yelling curse words in French, I'm sure, and parting the Red Sea, so to speak, so we could get across and get back to the airport. We made it back with 10 minutes to spare, got on the last flight out. I'm David Rahm, and that's my crazy story of being stuck in the Paris airport. So I lead with that story because it is a little bit of reflection of life now. For me, it feels crazy because I have 2 kids, a son, David the fourth, call him D4. He's 2.5 years old, and for whatever reason, my wife and I thought it was a good idea to start potty training this weekend. So that's been a little crazy. A daughter, Emma, that's 9 months, who just started to crawl a few days ago. So we're chasing her around the house, but it's not our house. We sold our house in July because, we thought it was a good idea to put it on the market and see what we could get for it. Well, it ended up selling in a week, and we moved in with my mother-in-law. So for the last 4 months, we've lived with my mother-in-law. And if you don't think that's crazy, just try it. So, 2 kids, live with my mother-in-law. The reason I'm here is for work, to try and improve my speaking. I was scheduled to do my icebreaker speech 2 weeks ago, but I had to postpone it due to work. 16-hour days for almost a week trying to start our plant back up. So work's a little crazy, home life's a little crazy. But I would say that all of that in perspective, looking back to the way I felt when I realized I didn't have my passport in the airport in Paris, is about like I feel when I get up in front of a group of folks and try and give a speech. So that's the reason I'm here, is to improve that and get a little more comfortable. And I appreciate everybody's attention, and I hope to get a lot better, and I welcome your feedback. Please be critical of me and help me to get better. And thank you.
You lost your passport. And I have the kind of a same story. My Chinese friend with her American husband back to China. And her son has born in Hong Kong. So one day into the mainland, they need her son special kind of a certificate in Hong Kong. But he just bring his green card. The green card is for back to United States. In China, is no use. So while they are in Xi'an, they not only the husband is because he has an American passport and China visa, and my friend has a Chinese passport, so they can go, but the boy cannot go. So the cost, because they lived in Mobile, and the cost, let's say, they have to fly to the Thailand, very close to China, and waiting for we deliver the boy's certificate to them, and then they fly back to the Xi'an, China, and they just have a visit several days in Thailand, and visit Thailand accidentally, and finally they back to the China. And my friend just was saying, you are so. I say, how do you think your green card only for you? So you're back to United States, not China. Issue you. So I don't know why they think about this. And fortunately, when they live in Mobile, they give my friend the key. My friend to take care their mail because they live over a month. My friend said, I don't want your home key, just give me your mailbox key. And I said, you have to keep this. Fortunately, they keep all the key. And also, they have the problem, drive to the airport, they rented the taxi, but the taxi didn't show up. So they drive their car to the airport. And because my friend have, they're all the key, the car, the home, and the airport, the mailbox, so they can drive their car back to their apartment. So that's the story. And the second speaker today is Cody.
Where does everyone see themselves in the next 5 years? So let's do a little exercise. Everyone, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Spend the next few seconds visualizing where you want to be at 5 years from now. Or if you have an idea, where do you see yourself? Just ponder that for a few seconds. Okay, everyone can now open their eyes. Did anyone see themselves relaxing on the beach somewhere, maybe doing that full time, traveling around the world for 6 months, or volunteering full time, giving back to the organizations you really care about? It sounds a lot like retirement, right? This is kind of the vision that we have of retirement. But for most of us, retirement is not in our 5-year window. For most of us, we're given a roadmap that doesn't account for a detour to early retirement. Some of you might be feeling a little misled, maybe, that the people that you trusted gave you a bad map. Maybe this was your parents or a teacher or maybe a job counselor, whoever it was. Most of us were given the advice, typical Americans, that we need to we need to go to school, finish maybe high school, college, get a job, work hard, save, and then one day you should have enough money stowed away that you can sip mimosas on the beaches of Florida. However, things are changing, right? We're not in the days of the career person anymore. Companies aren't giving pensions. You rarely see someone spending 20 to 30 years at a company and then getting the retirement package, the gold watch. It's not really happening nowadays. Also, banks are only paying 0.1% on your money. It's very hard to store up enough money for retirement just by simple savings. It doesn't work anymore. Even if you were to check all the boxes and get this to work, and you end up with a sum of money at retirement, you spent most of your life doing something or working for someone that you weren't really passionate about. Maybe you didn't get to accomplish your dreams and do the things that you really wanted to do. So this is the path that most of us were given. However, it is possible to turn around. It's possible to take a detour. Everyone has the ability to change. So some people have done this in as little as 5 years. They've taken control back of their time. They're able to do the things that they want to do and not have to worry about the 9-to-5 job. They've achieved financial freedom, and it's not a myth. The key metric to financial freedom is creating enough passive income to support your lifestyle, to have streams of money come in, and you no longer need to work a 9-to-5. You're no longer tied down to a job. The ultra wealthy value their time. It's their most valuable asset. Once they have all the money that they want, they care about their time. So they create systems to continue to produce money, what I like to call money trees. And these trees grow money while they eat, sleep, and if you're from the South, watch college football. They're constantly making money for them. And these systems can be made up many different ways. Some examples are investing in the stock market, particularly stocks that yield dividends, buying real estate that produces cash flow through rental income. Multi-level networking companies, getting involved in that, where the people below you feed money up to you at the top of the pyramid. Starting or buying a franchise, and there's a lot of internet businesses now that once the system's in place can create passive streams of income. Another thing to look at, though, in regards to financial freedom is, what do you really need to be happy? What things in your life are a must and what things aren't? If you really kind of step back and analyze that, some of the stuff you have in your life is actually probably stressful to you. It breaks, you have to spend money on it, and it doesn't bring you much joy. So when you think about that, you might be able to subtract some things from your life. Start saving more money. And this does two things in your goal to financial freedom. It lowers the bar, right? You no longer have to get to a certain income that you're currently spending right now. You can lower that, and you have more money to invest, either in your system, business, or investments. So by reducing what you have and what you need to be happy, you greatly increase the speed of your goal. You get there a lot quicker. So this is an important aspect of financial freedom. A popular internet resource, Mr. Money Mustache, funny name, but good information. He's done this, right? He stepped back, got rid of the stuff that was costing a lot of money but not bringing him any joy. He bought some stocks and some real estate properties, and he achieved financial freedom. Now he can do what he wants to do, whether that's spend time with his family or write on the internet to help other people do what he's done. Now, are you going to have to make some major life changes? Are you going to be able to operate exactly how you're operating now and achieve this? Well, to be honest, no, you are going to have to make some changes, and it's not going to be easy. But really think about that, though. The sacrifice you make for maybe 5 years to achieve this, what can you do with all that extra time? You have your entire life ahead of you. You can finally do the things you really wanted to do. Stuff you're really passionate about. Like, what do you do on the weekends, right? What do you do in the afternoons? The things that no one's paying you to do it, but you want to do them. Imagine being able to devote 100% of your time into those activities. And this is important, right? The passion, what's the end game for you? A lot of people initially think, okay, I have all this time, now I can maybe binge watch everything on Netflix or sit on the beach all day, but that's going to get old, right? And it's not going to cause you to wake up and maybe do a couple of things prior to work, get up early, or maybe stay up later than you normally would working on your investments or your side business. So the passion is very important. And once you figure that out, it's going to help drive you to the goal. So everyone here that's a member of Toastmasters, and I hope the guests also join, has the common goal of self-improvement, right? We're all here to get better. Everyone here wants to become a better public speaker, wants to become a better leader. So we have that in common. So I know everyone in this room can create your own detour from the roadmap of the average. Turn your dream into reality. Take the first steps onto the golden path of financial freedom. And remember, it's not a myth. Thank you.
Thank you. I like travel different place. But the problem is, if I work, I have no time. If I retire, I have no money. So I would like to try. You tell us. Next section is table topic section. This section is my favorite. And also I have a tutor. So every Wednesday he teaches me English, and we practice some table talks. But every time he asks me questions, I don't know how to answer. But I still like this section. So now I give time to the today toast table topic master Sorry.
Thank you. Also, table topics is one of my favorites also. For those of you who are new here, table topics is spontaneous speaking. What we do is we have the opportunity, should you desire to take it, to come up and get a topic. And then immediately, well, within a few seconds anyhow, be able to speak on that topic. And this is really good training. If you're in business or if you're actually living in the real world where you bump into people and want to have a conversation, this is something that is really valuable because it helps you to think on your feet so that when someone offers you the opportunity to speak, that you can be eloquent and get your point across. It's very good in conversation. So I really enjoy this. Tonight, strange as it may seem, I'm going to be a week early and I'm going to talk about some Halloween topics. Some Halloween topics. Okay? So, who would, do we have a volunteer? All right. Okay. This is Halloween is coming up. There are all kinds of strange, spooky, unusual things that happen on Halloween. On All Hallows Eve, who knows what might happen? What I would like to ask, what is the silliest, scariest, or most unique thing or costume or person that you have ever seen on Halloween? What is the scariest, silliest, or most unique thing you have seen on Halloween?
All right. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Toastmaster. I thought tonight I was going to be able to burke this section of the meeting for the night because this, unlike you guys, this is my least favorite time of this tonight. So I guess tonight if we're talking about what my most silliest interaction with a costume and or silliest or scariest costume during Halloween, I guess it would have to be myself one year. So one year I went to a party and I was dressed as a gorilla. I had a full-blown gorilla outfit, and I bought a cheaper one. It was made of that longer fur, polyester fur. I got it at Target. It was on deal. So I went to a party, and why it became very scary was one time I looked over in a window and I saw my reflection. Little did I know, but my arm was on fire. I was standing right beside a candle, did not know it, but it caught on fire. So I quickly put that out, but I would have to say that was my most scary Halloween costume that I've ever seen because it was about me. I was about to catch on fire. So, thank you, Mr. President.
Might have been scary for you, but I bet everybody else thought you were hot. So, would anyone else like to volunteer for a topic this evening? How about any of the guests? Are you inclined to try something?
What happens if, like, your mind goes blank and you can't think of anything?
Then you're no problem. You just
Swing it.
talk about whatever you want to talk about. Just kind of you take it into another topic.
You
So,
can pivot it.
Okay.
you want to try?
Sure.
And what was your name again?
Robert.
Robert? Okay, Robert. What is the best treat that you have ever received at Halloween time? Whether it was a trick or treat or just a treat that someone gave you.
Okay. Wow. Thank you all for coming to my speech. Such short notice. The tastiest treat I can think of were these little chocolate pieces, and they had wafers inside of them. and they're called Kit Kat bars. They're very good. I got one for Halloween, my big stash of candy one year, and I was like, man, this is the best. Tootsie Rolls, no, not Tootsie Rolls. Tootsie Rolls just kind of like hard, and they're just kind of like, they don't have the same texture. So Kit Kat bars were a good way to go for Halloween. So.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's interesting.
Sweet.
I lived in a different era than y'all, and we had all kinds of things we would get. I mean, sometimes you'd get like popcorn caramel balls and apples and, all kinds of things that nowadays nobody would even think of giving you because you might think that it was tainted in some way or whatever. But there were quite a few of those that I didn't like. Anyways, is there someone else who would like to do a table topic at this time? Anybody?
Hello.
All right. All right, James. Good. Here's an interesting one. Here is an interesting one. Okay, if you are out trick-or-treating and you happen to knock on the door of a presidential candidate, what kind of treat would you expect that person to give? The presidential candidate of your choice, past, present, or future. What kind of treat do you think you would get?
Okay. Well, when I went trick-or-treating one time when I was young, and, in the day we would go out and the sky was the limit. All of us would get together, it would get dark, and we'd go from house to house. So me and my brother, my friends, went to this big house because we knew that's where the candy was, right? So we got to this house, and what do you know? The candidate for the President of the United States opened the door. This guy comes to the door, and he has the biggest bag of candy you would ever imagine. But you've got to answer the question. I'm asking for your vote. We said, sir, it's October. Next month, the election is going to happen, the first Tuesday of next month. But guess what? We're not 18. He said, I don't care. If I give you this candy, then your parents will have to vote for me. Well, I said, now we asked my mother one time, are we Republican or Democrat? She says, I'm not sure. I've never voted before. So she said, but here in the South, during our day, almost everybody's a Democrat. But if you want to go to the left, go to the Democrat. Go to the right, Republican. I said, I always want to be right, so I'm going to go to the Republican. He said, I am sorry, that was the wrong answer. He said, you get the coal. So, but Jimmy Carter was elected anyway, 1976.
Just one more. Okay, anyone else want to do one? Going once? Ah. Good. Okay. Okay, who would you least expect to come to your door on Halloween night and why?
Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, the person that I would least expect to come to my door on Halloween would be Lawrence. The thing that I've learned about Lawrence is that he enjoys making pickles, and he came to us from Detroit. But Lawrence doesn't know where I'm living, so that would make it a little bit harder to come over. And I imagine that he has lots of better things to do than come to my door on Halloween. So, there we have it.
Yes, well, you never know. Surprises do happen. And there is Google.
That's true. That's true.
Scary.
Yes, so it's interesting. You never know who might be coming to your door. And so, with that, I would like to return the lectern to our Toastmaster for this evening. Thank you very much for your topics. They were all very exciting.
I remember 2002, October. I have an accident in my life. I got a burn, so we still have that scar here under my face. Before the Halloween, my face still look very ugly. And my husband said, "You don't need the makeup. The Halloween, you just go sit like a ghost." Really, I took a picture. So it's horrible. It looks so ugly, like a ghost. Trust me. Okay, next section will evaluate. So today's general evaluation is just here.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. So we begin this evaluation section with an evaluation of the first speech. The first speech was by David Rahm. It was his icebreaker. And Heather is going to be doing the evaluation.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. This was David's first speech, the icebreaker. The strong points that I found from David's speech was that I found it to be a really interesting idea / topic and approach, that you opened with a story and that we kind of got an idea of how it was a really chaotic thing that happened, and that it was kind of random and rare that it would just happen that way. Also that it would happen like twice when you had the temporary passport. So that was really interesting to me, and I thought that you seemed pretty comfortable and relaxed, so I thought that was a really strong point for you, especially since it's your first speech. I thought that the audience got to know you pretty well. We got to see how your experience at the airport in Paris kind of reflects your life now, like you said, how things are kind of crazy. So that was interesting to me. I think the speech did reflect adequate preparation. You did describe the story in a lot of detail, and for me that gave me a sense of everything that was going on as if I was experiencing it, and I think the audience kind of got that same sort of feel when you described the story. Did you talk clearly and audibly? I said yes. Did you have a definite opening, body, and conclusion, organization? I'd say that's something that you could work to improve on in the future, but since you took kind of the approach of telling a story, I don't necessarily think that organization was as important, and I think that as you took the idea of telling a story, the audience was actually a lot more engaged than maybe if you had another topic and you had to go from point to point. But that's also important to develop that. Did you use notes? No, you didn't. I didn't notice that, which I thought was really good because, again, it's your first speech. So that was really good, and it just shows that you had a lot of preparation. What could you have done differently to improve this speech? I think the only thing that I would suggest is maybe talk a little louder and project more, but that's the only thing I would suggest based on this speech. And what I liked about your presentation, again, is that it was a really interesting topic and approach to me, and I thought it was really clever to relate your experience in Paris to how you felt speaking. And I think that's something that everybody else here can really relate to. And so I thought that was a really interesting way to relate your speech to how you felt up here, even though I'm sure that situation was probably way more stressful and chaotic. All in all, I think it was a great speech and a really good approach, so good job, David.
I'm glad you made that.
Okay, so we'll move on to the evaluation for the second speech. The second speech was by Cody on financial freedom is not a myth, and Mickey will be performing that evaluation. Thanks, Mickey.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I'm Mickey Seltzer, evaluating Mr. Cody. Financial freedom is not a myth. Was the speech topic relevant to the occasion selected? Absolutely. So that's excellent. Did the speaker understand and express the feelings and needs of the audience? Absolutely. So we all are working now, or some maybe, maybe closer to retirement, others so definitely relatable to his audience. So that's excellent as well. Was the speaker forceful, confident, and positive? Very, as always. Did the speaker effectively use stories, anecdotes, and/or quotes to help convey his or her message? He did. And I think it was a Mr. Mustache example you used, or something like that. I remember that because you mentioned that, and so I thought that was a little cute to add in there. Did the speaker's words convey strong, vivid mental images? Absolutely. You even started with visualization, which I think is always a very positive tool to kind of focus in your audience and kind of bring us to where you want us to be. So excellent use of that. I did put satisfactory for the use of body language because I didn't say it necessarily didn't hurt your speech, but it didn't enhance it either. So did your speech uplift the audience and motivate us? It did as much as you could, speaking about retirement and financial freedom, okay? And so what could the speaker have done differently to make the speech more effective? It was very effective as is. If it didn't call for visual aid, that would have been the only added thing I would say, visual aid. And lastly, what did I like about the speech? I really like the speech that you touched a common interest with us, which we all speak about self-improvement, being our best self every day. And so you did touch upon that. So I think overall, excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you, Mickey.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to the timers report by Maurice.
For the timers report, the first speech by David was 4 minutes and 58 seconds. The second speech by Cody was 7 minutes and 54 seconds. It was 8 to 10 minute speech. For table topics, Lane, 1 minute and 18 seconds. Robert, 47 seconds. James, 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Rachel, 34 seconds. For the evaluations, Heather's evaluation of David was 3 minutes and 5 seconds, and Mickey's evaluation of Cody was 1 minute and 53 seconds, and that is the timer's report.
Okay, thanks, Maurice. So Rachel is going to provide the grammarian report for us.
All right. Who specifically am I supposed to cover in this? Is it everyone who spoke this evening?
Everyone who speaks, even the general evaluator, the Toastmaster.
All right. So Yu Ying, I noticed maybe like 3 or 4 ums and ahs thrown in there. David, you had just 2 ums and 2 you knows. Cody, I noticed 1 you know, and so was a favorite word. You had that one about 7 times. Lawrence, so you had that one twice. Lane, you threw in our 1 word of the day. Great job. And 2 bonus ums.
All right.
Robert, you showed up tonight and also had just a few 7 or so. James, about 4 so's thrown in there, no ums, just the so's. And I have thrown in quite a few ums and ohs in just this speech here, but during my table topic I had 1 and 1. Heather, 1 like and 2 ums or so. And Mickey, so you had maybe 6 of those, 2 ums, and 1 you know.
Gotcha, thank you.
Yes. And Maurice, I didn't notice any ums or ohs or anything.
Okay.
And then, so is it Justin?
Yes.
Justin, I haven't noticed 1 or oh, so you are.
I used some so's in my transitions in there, but.
Oh, I missed those, okay. Gotcha.
Okay, well, Rachel, thanks for that. I'll go on with the general evaluation of the meeting. The meeting did start on time. One thing that we need to improve on in general with our meetings is, number 1, usage of the Easy Speak software. And I am as guilty of that as anyone, because I constantly log into it 40 minutes before the meeting, before I drive over here and sign up for roll and say I'm going to attend after the agenda is already printed out. But for those of you who are new to the group, you're not familiar with Easy Speak perhaps yet, but it's a software that we use to organize the agendas, automatically generate the agendas. And if we all use it, it works great, because an agenda is prepared in advance of the meeting and it helps us flow and organize the meeting. Even if we don't have those, we need to be more proactive about getting roles assigned, either at the end of this meeting or in advance of the meeting, just to help things flow easier in the beginning. So that's not unique to this meeting, but it's something that we need to work on as a club. Another thing I would suggest is, when announcing a speaker, is to announce the speech title, what part of the book that's going for, to help transitions into the speakers. And I think transitions in general in the meetings are important to handle those smoothly and have clear introductions into the next phase of the meeting. Lawrence did a great job on the table topics. I enjoyed the Halloween theme. The table topic involving the burning gorilla suit was pretty funny. Enjoyed that one. And the evaluators all did a great job. The evaluation team did a great job. So with that, I'll hand this meeting back over to the Toastmaster.
So a good meeting, and I think I give time to Cody.
All right, so we're a little early today. It's not a bad thing. I do not have an educational piece tonight. Do you have something? Okay. So Lawrence will now have an educational. Well, this is where we'll do an educational piece, and this will be done by Lawrence.
Because we have so many guests, I would like to give just a little overview of Toastmasters, and that way you can have a little bit of an understanding. Originally, Toastmasters was started as a group for professional men who were involved in business. And they realized that one of the most important aspects of leadership is communication. And so the purpose of Toastmasters at that time was to develop communication. Of course, as time went on, that kind of evolved with the understanding, future understandings of what really leadership covered. Now, Toastmasters is focused very much on leadership and communication. In the next couple of years, there's going to be a bit of a transition in Toastmasters where we start a new system where we have tracks. So if you were, say you were a salesperson, you could get on a sales track, and all of your communication and leadership development would be on that sales track. Now that doesn't mean that's the only thing you could do, but it just, so you can focus, if you desire, you can focus on one track and move forward. Now, the other thing that Toastmasters is very good for is to develop the ability to have meetings. Anybody who has been in any kind of major business meeting will know that these things can be a horror story. You get somebody up there and they ramble on and ramble on and ramble on and ramble on about whatever it is that they're talking about, and everybody's got to listen and doodling and whatever. But it's just a horror story. So what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to create dynamic meetings and make sure that those meetings start on time, follow the proper order, and get done on time. And in Toastmasters, we follow the same program, or we try to follow the same program that governments and other major bodies would use in developing their meetings. And this is what they call Robert's Rules of Order. You can find it online if you're ever interested in looking at it. But that's what we try to do. We try to, if someone has the floor, that person is in charge for that time period. And then the next person comes up, they have their time period. And that's why we have a timer, so that you know, hey, your time's up, let's move on. And of course, if it got too much out of hand, the timer can say, okay, it's over, let's get the next thing going. So this is the purpose of Toastmasters, is to have a good time and have a happy atmosphere where you can grow and improve your leadership and communication skills. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you for Lawrence for that. I've been here a year and learned something about Toastmasters, so that was good. Also, for any guests, if you're interested in joining, we have applications and we can kind of explain to you the cost structure and all that. So if you want to, feel free to stick around, and you're welcome back next week if you're not really sure and you want to try it again. Glad to have everyone here. It's good to see a big full crowd, so it's really exciting. If no one else has anything, no awards, I don't think. So, oh yeah. Do you want to we can go ahead and do rolls? So, does anyone want to speak next week?
Yeah, I can do this.
So you,
This
okay.
I will speak.
Okay, you ready?
We're gonna need one speaker.
Maybe Ren or Thomas might. We can leave it open. It's,
Ron?
well,
Who else was supposed to speak tonight? Was there?
well, David and I both signed up, so it's
Oh,
just
okay,
up to you.
okay.
I think Ren said he's working on a pocket speech, though, so you can probably put him down. He'll
Okay.
probably do one.
Then we need a
I can do
Toastmaster,
I can do evaluator. One of them.
general letter.
I'll do like a single, first or second.
Okay. Who want to be a Toastmaster?
I could be Toastmaster.
First speak. Oh, sorry. We need another evaluator, a general evaluator and a second evaluator.
I guess general.
General evaluator, okay.
Is Monday night Halloween next week?
No.
Or is that Tuesday?
Tuesday's 31st.
Still won't be here, but I was just wondering.
Wednesday's All Saints Day.
Second evaluator.
And timer. Anybody want to do timer?
Timer, tabletop master. Tabletop master.
Okay, we can fill this in
Uh-huh.
later. That's fine. Okay, so if no one else has anything, we will now end the meeting. Thank you.